Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on, about explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. Without further ado, here we go.
Sergeant Washington Moscoso with the San Antonio Police Department's Public Information Office. This critical incident video release is intended to provide you with information as the department currently understands it about an officer-involved shooting that occurred on January 4th on the 1400 block of Culebra Road. I will walk you through video relevant to the facts of this incident as we know them so far. Content of this video may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Police received reports of a man who appeared to be intoxicated, brandishing a firearm in the area of the Luxury Inn Motel on the 1400 block of Culebra Road. Here is an excerpt of one of those calls.
San Antonio 911, this is Patricia. Do you need police, fire, or EMS?
Police.
To what location?
It's ma'am, I had an incident happen at the store. I don't know if this guy's drunk or what, but he's carrying a pistol and he's showing it off and saying,
Where
who's
at?
next, who's next. It was at the corner store, but he went to go hide inside the motel at 1404 Culebra Road.
One of the responding officers attempted to make contact with the individual, whom callers stated retreated to his room on the second floor of the motel.
Whatever. I'm gonna go knock on 112.
All right, I'll pause it right here. And this is a call involving a person with a gun. Now, is someone walking around with a gun illegal? No. Unless that person is a felon and they cannot possess that gun, or they're in some freedom-hating place like New York and they're just not simply allowed to have it. But for the rest of U.S., just walking around with a gun, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal about it. But the circumstances there, him waving it around, that's a wanton endangerment type of thing. Like, it's not a good idea to be waving the gun around, pointing it at people, and then to be saying who's next, who's next. That's odd. That's dangerous. So, although from what I can tell from based off that 911 call and the information that's available, waving around could be him actually waving at people, or the person is exaggerating and the person was actually waving it around. That's one of the problems with 911 calls. You don't 100% get the full accurate picture of what is going on. But it's 50-50 at this point. It could be a bad deal or it could be an okay deal. Obviously, since this video exists and I'm playing it, it's turned out to a bad deal. But it could have been something where this guy was just simply walking with a rifle on his back, or just walking with a rifle to his front and holding it, and that person, as he's walking, the barrel's swaying back and forth. That person could have said, "Oh, he's waving that gun around." But anyway, regardless of the circumstances, it could be good or bad. The officer is knowingly going to a call involving a person that is armed with a gun. And from the description of the 911 caller, they sound like they're doing stupid stuff with it. So this is a high-risk call, in my opinion. And this means that this officer should be getting out with a long gun, either shotgun or rifle. If you know you're going to a gunfight, bring a rifle. And bring all your friends with rifles. Rifles are better than pistols. They are more accurate, and their terminal ballistics are night and day. A rifle has a longer barrel, and there are more points of contact on that weapon to help further reduce the amount of movement in that overall weapon, thus reducing your likelihood of missing targets. It increases your accuracy. A pistol has a very short barrel, and there's only 2 points of contact on there. Just the littlest amount of movement can cause that gun to move, such as pulling the trigger. Just pulling the trigger can cause that gun to move left or right, depending on if you're firing left-handed or right-handed, and throw that shot placement off. Up close, it may not be noticeable a whole lot, but as you increase increments of distance, it becomes way noticeable, and you may not even hit the target at all. The terminal ballistics for pistol suck. All pistol calibers suck. I don't care if it's 9, 40, 45, 357, whatever. They all suck in comparison to rifle cartridge. Rifle cartridge is just downright fucking devastating. It can take fewer rounds of a rifle to rapidly incapacitate a threat than it could with pistol cartridges. It could take 5 to 12 rounds of pistol to rapidly incapacitate a threat. Rifle, 3 at most if you get good center mass hits. So it does not appear as though this officer has a rifle. So this is the first mistake. Him going to this gun call and not getting out with the appropriate tool.
The suspect, later identified as 44-year-old Jose Iruegas, emerged from the room brandishing a gun.
Police department!
The officer directed Iruegas to drop the gun, but instead Iruegas pointed the gun toward the officer. The officer, along with another officer at ground level, then opened fire on Iruegas.
Drop the gun!
Surveillance footage from the property shows Iruegas exit his room and point the gun at the officer nearest to his door. This is video from the second officer's body cam.
All right, let's back this up.
Fire on the officer. The officer identified as 44-year-old Jose Iruegas emerged from...
All right, so a walkway like this is a shitty place to be at. Especially when it's on the second floor. The wall and the doors here, the officer can't move off to the side this way, obviously, right? He could potentially jump over the rail, but that's not going to be a good idea because you're jumping from the second floor. You break both legs when you hit, and now you're not moving anywhere. Or land the wrong way, crack your head, and die.
From the room, brandishing a gun.
It looks... It's hard to tell.
Iruegas emerged from the room, brandishing a gun.
Well, it looks like 2 more doors over here. At first I thought maybe this was like a corner to go around, but it doesn't look like that. So this is a dead-end spot right here. Really nowhere to go if he stayed over here.
Police department!
The officer directed...
Although if he was staying right here and this guy comes out, he now is in a corner that he cannot escape out of. Although he could see the person better initially if they open this door, he's still going to be blocked in, so to speak. So this long corridor here, it looks like
Iruegas to drop the gun.
There's an exit sign there, and I don't know if this just goes to another set of stairs down there, or if there's an opening to the left over here and it wraps around. If that is the case, that could be a better place to put yourself at. This is one of those architectural setups that just fucking sucks to be in a spot like this, because you just cannot aggressively move anywhere to get off the X. I mean, you're literally stuck in this tiny little lane right here.
but instead Iruegas pointed the gun toward the officer. The officer, along with another officer at ground level, then opened fire on Iruegas.
Drop the gun!
Personally, it being a gun call, one, like I said, I think a rifle should have been out. But secondly, if he's not getting his rifle out, then his pistol should have already been out to begin with. It should not have been holstered. Guy comes out and very quickly
Surveillance footage from the property shows Iruegas exit his room and point the gun at the officer nearest to his door. This is video from the second officer's.
So the nice thing about being on this side of the door is the person has to step out and expose themselves a little bit more to get around this corner right here. Whereas the other way, all they have to do is open that door, stay inside that room, be recessed into it a little bit. It'd be dark. You'd not be able to see much in there. And that could give them the advantage. Here, they have to poke themselves out the door a little bit more. Now, the flip side of that, some people could say it'd be better to be on the left side of the door over here so that you can see into the room as it's opening. But that could be a one of those debate things, just like caliber. You can debate it all day.
This is video from the second officer's body camera.
Drop the gun!
Iruegas was taken to University Hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. No one else was injured during.
So this officer also failed not to get a rifle. We can see that the officer up top here is backing away
In this incident. Iruegas' firearm was later determined to be a BB gun, indistinguishable from a real firearm. Iruegas is facing 2 charges of terroristic threat against a peace officer. Was later wounds. Iruegas was taken to University Hospital with multiple gunshot wounds.
Now, I would guess that once he gets back here to this point, he could use this opening in the stairwell to position himself in a way that this column right here acts as cover. And he would be essentially backed away from the cover and being able to peek around it and minimizing as much of him as possible as far as what would be visible to the bad guy. So the bad guy's looking out this way, and he is back here at this opening of the step, just barely peeking around the corner. He's not going to see much of that officer. Whereas if he was up close on his cover, peeking around, he would see more of him. So that kind of layout right here, as far as the trajectories go, like that would make it a decent place for cover up here on this little landing. But other than that, as I said earlier, being on a second floor landing with nowhere to go just sucks. There's no cover up there. There's nothing to hide behind.
No one else was injured during this incident. Iruegas' firearm was later determined to be a BB gun, indistinguishable from a real firearm. Iruegas.
From this angle, obviously it looks super real. These airsoft guns, they are 1-to-1 replicas of the actual thing. You can take an airsoft gun, a pistol, and stick it in a holster made for a real gun, and it fits in there. You could take accessories for like a weapon-mounted light. You could take a real deal Surefire light that goes on a real gun and put it on one of these airsoft guns, and it mates up perfectly. Other accessories you could put on there. Same for the rifles and stuff. You could take real stuff and put it on airsoft toys because it's a 1-to-1 replica. Now, these manufacturers should be putting plastic tips on the end of them and stuff like that. But obviously, you can paint those things over, or depending on the design of it, you just take the thing off. There's no way to be able to to quickly look at something like that and tell if it's real or fake. Even if it was painted a bunch of bright, goofy colors, there's no way to tell, because some people will take their guns and paint them bright, weird, goofy colors. There are real live guns out there that have paint schemes on them to look like kind of like those NASCAR jackets that you'd see, or the cars that some people would get. They get like a an older car, and they'll do like an Almond Joy paint job on it, right? Like they'll paint it all white and they'll put the logo on the side of it, or they'll do like a McDonald's car. Usually the hip hop crowd would do that stuff back in the day, but people have done that with pistols. So there's like I've seen pictures of a live Glock out there that had like a Black & Decker paint scheme to it. It's black and yellow. I've seen the Milwaukee brand paint scheme on a gun. Seen a Nintendo old school Nintendo game paint scheme on a gun. It's all gray. It's got like red accessories, or I'm sorry, not accessories, but like red trigger and like a red magazine release button on it. All kinds of different paint schemes that are customizable for guns you can get, and just people just having fun with it, I guess, and just putting these bright irregular colors on a gun, having hot pink and hot neon, green or whatever, colors that you would normally associate with a toy, like a Super Soaker gun or something. But instead of throwing water or plastic BBs out, they're slinging lead. So even if this dude popped around the corner with a hot pink looking gun, a Tiffany blue colored gun, you still have to assume that it's real, because real guns are painted in those weird ass colors. So this officer acted appropriately.
Is facing 2 charges of terroristic threat against a peace officer. Investigations into deadly force are comprehensive and can take over a year. A reminder, this is our current understanding of the situation and could change as investigators gather. Iruegas is facing...
Okay, so that's it on this video. Very short, sweet, and simple. Not much else to talk about. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.